Hi everyone, back to the more YouTube channel. It's Chris back with the aftermath. That's right. This is the show that we do when the dust has settled from the post-match analysis of the game that Newcastle United have just played, the 4-0 demolition of Leicester City. It's always a bit better to do one of these because when you jump on with the post-match straight away, your emotions are high normally for the good and the bad. And sometimes you say things get a little bit carried away. I was quite calm this post-match, to be fair, mainly because I was a bit poorly, wasn't feeling too right, so I wasn't too hyped and jumped up as I normally would do. But I've had a bit of time to think about it, consumed some content as well in the aftermath of the game, and it's just led me to have a couple of thoughts about it, really, which I'm going to share with yourselves right now. So that's the kind of thing you guys like. Smash subscribe, come help us get to the next milestone. Why don't you? We are going to give away the 9,000 subscriber prize on Monday night show tonight at 9:30, or tomorrow night, I beg your pardon, 9:30. So make sure you tune into that and you can be in into it if you're a subscriber. So the game itself, 4-0, it's hard to disagree. That's a great result. Newcastle United needed a result, but we needed a performance as well. We all said that before the game, and we got a bit of both, but I think it has to be mitigated with just how poor the opposition were, really. And I said this in the post-match, and I'm going to double down on that. They were so bad. They were bad on the ball. They had no shape. They were poor defensively. I felt sorry for the fans coming all the way from Leicester. That's a long old trip, especially if you're driving that as well. I'm not surprised they left early. I mean, going to level 7, they probably moved more than their entire team did 90 minutes, to be brutally honest with you. But I think the opposition were really poor, despite some of the new manager Bowen's performances we've seen under Ruud van Nistelrooy. He's got a lot of work to do with that squad. Of course, Newcastle can only beat what's in front, and that's exactly what they did. But I think some key elements from that game, no doubt about it. Jacob Murphy, whether you love him or you loathe him, whether you rate him or you don't rate him, I'll tell you what I think in a minute. He offers balance on that right-hand side. He offers balance because he's right-footed. Gordon's better on the left-hand side. Gordon excelled in that game. He was pressing hard. He looked like the Anthony Gordon that we all know and love. He was hurrying the keeper. He was pressing the centre half, making Cody make mistakes. And that's exactly what we want from Anthony Gordon. He looked sharp. He looked fitter. And he looked like he was willing to put in the work that he's maybe not done over the last few weeks. Now, I think it's great for Newcastle United. There's no more international games for a long period of time, so we're not going to lose Gordon to England and have that as an excuse in the background as well. The link-up play between him and Lewis Hall, absolutely amazing. More on Lewis Hall in a second, and more from me and Mark on Lewis Hall and what's going on. That's for damn sure. But going back to what Murphy brings to the team, he brings balance, but I think we just need to pump the brakes a little bit here about all this Murphy loving, right? The lad had a good game and he scored 2 very good goals, right? But he is not the long-term answer for that problem on the right-hand side. No fucking way is that the answer at all. This is the problem that we've had as a fan base over the last 18 months to 2 years, is you get average players who do a decent job for a period of time, but inconsistently. They play well for 4 or 5 games and they disappear for 10 or 15 games. In those 4 or 5 games, we big these players up to be something way more than they are. And then we think we don't need a right winger. We think we don't need a centre half. I think we don't need a goalkeeper. We do need a right winger massively. We need quality on that right-hand side. Barnes does not work in this team. I think there's going to be an issue with Barnes. I wouldn't be surprised if I see him leave in January, to be brutally honest with you. I think he's a sellable asset. I think somebody would buy him because he brings goals, but he does not fit into this Newcastle United picture at all right now. And he doesn't do himself any favours when he comes on, and doesn't do a lot either, to be fair. But what Murphy does bring is he does bring balance. He's clearly higher up the pecking order than Miggy. Miggy, for everything that he's done in the past and that purple patch that he's had, Miggy has drifted away massively as a footballer for Newcastle United. He doesn't offer a great deal. I think the last time he came on, was it the Liverpool game or was it possibly the Brentford game, where the most Miggy Almiron thing ever, he literally, the ball's right coming at him and he then turns and runs and the centre-half just runs and takes the ball off of him, and Miggy's got his eyes facing that way instead of actually facing the ball. That's Miggy Almiron for you. If you can get 10 or 15 million quid for this kid in January, fuck me, fly him, boat him, drive him, get him on horseback to whatever club wants him, just get him the fuck out and bank the money and readdress the issues in the squad. But yes, Murphy does bring balance, and I will give him that, but he is not the suddenly, rediscovered amazing football that everyone seems to want to give him credit on social media. People need to stop living in these moments. The lad's done well. I will give him the respect that he deserves for the performance that he put in, but he is not all of a sudden a brilliant player, and I won't roll back on everything I said about him. He's inconsistent. He's not good enough, certainly in key games and key moments. Yes, he can pop up every now and again with a goal and hit a good strike like he does, but he's not the long-term answer for the right-wing problem. So that's me on Jacob Murphy. Going back to more positive things, Sandro Tonali and Bruno Guimaraes. My God, they work so well with one in the 6 being Sandro and Bruno in the 8. We know this has worked for a long time. The manager has not played this for a long time. And that's why people have lost their shit, because he keeps putting Sandro in and pulling them out and putting Longstaff in and everything else. Change it. No, you need to have Sandro Tonali as the 6. He's very, very good at it. It doesn't matter the opposition was shit. Every time we've seen him in the 6, he's looked composed, he's looked calm, he uses the ball well, his positional sense is great, good tackles, good vision, good reading in the game, and it gives Bruno the chance to get a little bit further forward, get into the box, and be a goal threat. Now, he probably had 2 or 3 chances yesterday. He probably should have done better with, but he scores a header in the end. He keeps persevering. And the more that he knows Sandro is sitting back in that 6 role, the more Bruno will feel adventurous enough to get into the box and maybe get a few goals. And we know he's capable of it. So Eddie Howe needs to stick with that. Mark will no doubt break that down with some unbelievable slides or what's going on. So make sure you tune in for that, because Mark always puts the graft on them way better than Sky Sports, by the way, and less biased as well. Well, not biased to Newcastle, clearly, but less biased to the Green Six. But yeah, I think that's a great midfield partnership, and it has to stay where it is, with Joe Linton in there as well, offering that cover to the left-hand side of the pitch. And the left-hand side of the pitch, again, looked incredible. Lewis Hall, wow, what a player. We were screaming for him to play for so long. I've got to give Eddie credit there, because he's maybe cooked him just at the right temperature for Lewis Hall to go on and become arguably the best left back we've ever had at the club, really, because it's always been an issue position for me. I think I grew up in the entertainers, and John Beresford was really good in that role. But outside of Beresford, I don't remember anybody really being great there. Bernard was decent for a little bit, then he drifted away. Enrique drifted away. We haven't really had a really good left back, consistently in that role. But Lewis Hall not only looks brilliant for Newcastle, but I really do think he's in that England squad now to stay in our first team picture, because I can't see a better left back, certainly not a better English left back, playing a top level football than Lewis Hall right now. The way he uses the ball, his positional sense, defensively, he's way better than he was. He's had a tough week as well against Salah and Mbeumo before that, but he played really, really well, used the ball well. Because he was playing against a lesser team who didn't test him so much defensively, he was able to bomb forward and show you what he's worth in the attacking end of the pitch. And that is something that is massive for us going forward. Livramento needs to get better at that. On the other side, for me, he was better yesterday against Leicester, because Leicester weren't great. But Tino really needs to get better at bombing up and putting crosses in the box. He does have a nosebleed sometimes when he gets there, but Lewis Hall is absolutely brilliant, and I'm so impressed, with how he's going. Martin Dubravka, wow, Martin Dubravka. So with Martin Dubravka, we're all worried when he came in. He didn't get tested really at all, bar once, I think, because Leicester were crap, right? But everyone's getting a little bit excited about Dubravka being able to use his feet better than Nick Pope, right? Dubravka is not the answer, much like Jacob Murphy, worse than Jacob Murphy, because Jacob Murphy's a better player in his position than Dubravka isn't his. Dubravka has problems, has faults, has issues with his game. We saw that when he filled in for Pope last season through injury. He's too slow off his line. He's indecisive. Yes, he can use his feet a lot better than Pope. That's a major problem for Nick Pope, and something I think the club need to look to upgrade on in the summer transfer window. January is not the time to get a goalkeeper that can use his feet, but the summer might be. The likes of the Liverpool goalkeeper, Kelleher, he's the kind of lad we should be looking at bringing in. He's not going to get in ahead of Alisson if he stays on Mamadashvili, who's gone there. So we should be looking at a goalkeeper like that. That's an upgrade on Nick Pope for me. But yeah, Martin Dubravka, I wouldn't even say a decent game, because he didn't really do much. He didn't do anything wrong, right? But he didn't have to do anything right, particularly either. So all that noise about Dubravka being great, his feet will just calm down a little bit. Everyone calm down a little bit. And that's my main message, I think, is yes, it's a great result, but just stay calm, because there's huge games still to come. They've got to do it against Brentford on Wednesday in the Cup. Let's get that game won, and let's get to a Cup semi-final, and then get to Ipswich. Portman Road with confidence. Ipswich are no mugs. They've had some good performances there, some good results. They just won there the weekend as well. Very, very spicy game against Wolves. We'll talk about that in an hour or two, and that's for damn sure. But this is not a given that Newcastle are back all of a sudden because of one game and one performance against a really shit side. We've played shit sides this season and we fucked up against them, but we got the job done against Leicester because they were so bad, but we did play well in moments as well. So I will give that to the lads. But I think a lot of the messages and a lot of the noises I'm hearing out of other content creators who I listen to, I think are quite calm in the moment, not hyperbolic, don't go nuts about stuff and jump up and down and different, trending kind of moods and tailor their opinions to those moods. The people I would listen to who deliver great content said the same thing. They said, hey, it's a great win, but I'm not allowing myself to get overexcited. Now exactly the same, because Newcastle United did this. We went on 3 brilliant results, went away for the break, came back and were dog shit. So you can't sit there with massive confidence that Newcastle have turned the corner all of a sudden and they're going to deliver these performances week in, week out, because they need to do it against Brentford in the Cup. They need to do it against Ipswich as well. Then we've got Villa on Boxing Day, which is a big game as well. So Newcastle have got a few big games to get back into the picture that they want to be. And for this corner to have been turned, and stay turned, and then we need to add to the squad in January, which we know is a big issue. We'll have a few videos about that. Players that are linked to coming in, and players certainly that are linked to going out as well, because there's a lot of noise as the January transfer window approaches. But that's my thought on the aftermath, guys. Great performance, great result, but no need to get overexcited yet, because it's just one game. Let's get into the next game and the next game and the next game, and then we'll start to get excited that Newcastle United may be back, because right now they've just beaten a shit Leicester team that look destined for relegation if they don't pull a finger out. And although it's a good performance, we need to just have a little bit of caution, I think, is my opinion on the aftermath, guys. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think about the game. Have you calmed down a little bit now in the whole furore of the aftermath of the game? Have you just chilled a little bit? Do you feel the same as me? Or do you think this is a turning point for Newcastle again? Do you think this is turning point number, 75? I don't know what it is. But if you think it's a turning point, let me know in the comments below. We always welcome a difference of opinion in the Evermore chat. We don't attack anybody for it. As long as you keep it above the belt, no need to abuse anybody for thinking one way or the other. We're all here to talk about that team. We call United. We all want them to do as well as we possibly can. So jump in the comment, guys. Let us know what you think. Like and subscribe, as I said before. Help get us to the next milestone. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you later. Cheers.
Newcastle United 3.